to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am your host, Ryan Doze, today joined by Eric Teskey. Eric, we are sans Faz, sans Will tonight, but we have two great issues to talk about. We are talking about Immortal Thor number 20 and New Champions number 2. Just on the whole, man, how excited were you for this week of comics? There were some other big books that came out on Marvel's line, DC's line, but these are the two we're talking about tonight. How are you feeling about this this slab of issues we have?
Yeah, hey buddy, it's good to be back. It's good. I feel like I've been gone forever, but this
but truly, is that actually true though? Because so you say we talk all the time, like in our group text, we talk all the time. So I'm like, has it really been that long? And then like, if Faz says it'll be like, yeah, I haven't recorded an episode in a month. It's like, okay, well, you're right then. What was the last episode we did together?
I had 1 week off. I'm just being a baby about it. Yeah. It was literally one time, but
1 week off.
This was a fantastic week to come back to. I think I had like 6 books I pulled this week and some real bangers. I mean, it was just, for me, New Comic Day is like such a bright spot, and this has been a packed, like busy week. And so, like we were even talking today about like, man, I'm just like really looking forward to chatting comics with you like later tonight. Like it's just like really something I was looking forward to.
So. Everybody, recently, both Eric and I live in the Midwest. We live on like polar opposite ends of the Midwest. Like, I guess, yeah, I'm definitely on the western half of the Midwest. But like a cold snap, like just a complete like winter freeze went through Nebraska, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so cold out here doing work, but the thought that keeps me warm is I get to talk about comics with one of my buddies, with one of my favorite nerds in this entire world. So that was keeping me warm today. And like you said, Eric, it was such a great new the land of comics is full of gold these days. Mm-hmm. Outside of New Champions and Immortal Thor, what were some other books you picked up this week that were like, especially, I don't know, just like noteworthy?
Bug Wars. Hello.
Bug Wars kicked so much ass.
I was telling everybody about it. I was sharing it on Instagram, and I had people that I went to college with reaching out to me, and they're like, oh, I heard that was good. I'm going to pick that up too. And so I'm like, yeah, it's spreading. The word is out. Of course, our listeners know because Jason Aaron was on the show talking about it. So if you know, you're an insider hearing all about Bug Wars.
Bug Wars was great. I obviously picked up the second issue of Aquaman, and the first issue of Aquaman was like everything I wanted in an Aquaman book. But then after I read issue 2, I was like, oh, issue 1 was kind of playing all the hits, like just kind of giving you that feel of Aquaman, so that in the second issue, Jeremy Adams and John Timms could just like flip it on its head and do some really weird shit with Aquaman, and especially with his power set. So I was like, oh, okay, this run is not going to be the same. And I love the warm coziness of playing the hits, but then also just being like, okay, this isn't going to be just like another, oh, I've got to save Atlantis from, catastrophe kind of thing. I really enjoyed that. There's a lot of other books that we talked about in our group chat, especially, we launched One World Under Doom this week, the big crossover event that's going to be going out throughout, probably at least through the Fantastic Four movie coming out. But the main 2 issues we're excited to talk about today are New Champions number 2 and Immortal Thor number 20. So on our pre-show, we were like, well, which one do we talk about first? And Eric was like, well, let's talk about New Champions first. So this is number 2 of this series from writer Steve Fox, pencils and inks by Ivan Fiorelli, my apologies, and then a whole host of fantastic creators bringing this book to life. We had nothing but high praise to say about the first issue. Eric, would you say you are as hyped about this series now, more hyped, less hyped, now that issue 2 has come out?
I'm getting even more excited about it. I think at first I was like, am I going to be overwhelmed by all these new characters, by all these young
Yeah.
characters? I mean, there's a lot of obscure, relatively unknown, but I think to me it comes off as like fresh optimism and just the potential of not knowing they could go anywhere they want with these characters because there's no like baggage in history. It's sort of like cutting edge and it just feels exciting.
I love it for those same reasons too, and like these heroes are kind of based on like what was it? Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but you said last time these heroes are what forgotten sidekicks would be of different heroes.
Yeah, I
So
believe I believe they were originated. A lot of them did from just a variant cover prompt that was like design what a long forgotten sidekick character would be, and so they are really sort of created to be as if they were forgotten sidekicks.
yeah, so like there's characters that they're supposed to at least emulate or be adjacent to. So Hellrune is kind of our I've been saying like she's Asgardian coded. Like we don't know that if she's from Asgard or not, but her appearance, the style of magic she has, the runes that we've seen around her, hell, her name alone is
Yeah.
kind of a giveaway. And then we have Moonsquire, who's Moon Knight.
Oh my
We have
gosh.
Cadet Marvel. Captain Marvel, Liberty is like Captain America. There's a lot of different nods to different other A-list or B-list heroes in the Marvel universe. We started. I suggested we read this book because of Hellrune, and in issue 1, we saw that Hellrune is without a family. She doesn't really know who her birth family is, where she belongs, and that is what leads the team into conflict. They follow Hellrune to Norway when she calls. She has this general call and brings the new, bring me the new champions. Well, she doesn't specify. So then all these young heroes come out of these portals, and we see the team, the core team of Moonsquire, Hellrune, Liberty, and Cadet Marvel all together. But then we see other heroes. And Eric, I want to know which one of these characters is kind of your favorite that showed up in addition to our core team. I'll just list them off for the listeners here. Phantasma, who's kind of like a Ghost Rider, like roller derby kind of styled hero. Amaranth Howlett is from the Scarlet Witch series
Mhm.
that our buddy Russell Dodderman is doing fantastic covers for, and Steve Orlando is writing. Then we have Gold Tiger, who is from Wakanda. That's one of the main things that she gives us in her description of herself. We have Kid Juggernaut, Hulkette, Spider Boy Bailey Briggs, who is in his own book right now. There's Nightshade Logan Lewis, and we get in this issue the first appearance of Deadpool Boy. So that is kind of and Monty. Monty is the magic wielding. It looks like he uses kind of like tarot card magic. Which one of these characters was your favorite? Which one of like are you like, oh my gosh, I would love to see more of that character?
So I'm glad you asked because I actually do have a favorite out of these, and
Okay.
it's Kid Juggernaut.
Okay.
And Kid Juggernaut, this comic is his first comic book appearance. He had a cameo with no dialogue in the last book, and this is his first comic book appearance. Now, he's been in Marvel Unlimited Infinity Comics for like 6 months now. So he's not
Okay.
a new character, but this is his first time in print. And he's actually getting his own one shot that I think it's going to be kind of like those It's Jeff collections of the Infinity Comics in a printed book.
Oh, very
He's
cool.
got one of those coming out. So I think he's catching on. For listeners who don't know, this is a character who takes on the powers of Juggernaut with the crystal of Sidorak,
Sidorak,
and
yep.
and it really is he's Korean Canadian, and he
Okay.
is I think he's like the grandson or great grandson of the guy that Kane Marco kills and takes the powers from over in Asia. So it's kind of
Oh, interesting.
returning the power to that family line. And he's got
Oh,
a funny quote where he's basically saying like, I'm Juggernaut now. It was an American for a while and now it's me. Like it's, kind of that, just really interesting. But he's a sweetheart. He works in a bakery. He's just like such a sweet, adorable person. And I don't know, that juxtaposition with then he's this like extremely powerful, ramming, like brute. I just think it's really cool.
I so I need to go check out his Infinity comic then. And I know you've been reading Avengers Academy.
Hmm.
Um and he's part of the team of characters that they follow in that book as well. But yeah, I'm looking up on the Marvel Wiki right now, kind of his appearances. A lot of Infinity comic appearances. Glad to see him in the main book, or in a main physical book. That'll be exciting when he gets his own like actual physical book, like a collection of. Is it going to be a collection of his Infinity comics, like that are from his own title, or from Avengers Academy?
I think it's his origin story because he did have his own, I think, 4-part Infinity comic that was just him
Yes.
before Avengers Academy started. So I think it's the reprint of those in physical form.
I love it. And I'm just looking at his look is so cool too. I think Juggernaut has a cool look anyway. But it's just kind of it's fun to see the hero version of a youthful character that, like you were saying, has kind of like a heart of gold. My favorite character of the non-main, group. I want to know more about Hulkette, because like
Yeah.
a small girl Hulk that isn't just She-Hulk is intriguing to me. And I don't think, let me look here real quick. I don't think there's many appearances. I don't think this is her first appearance, but let's see. Hulkette, I'm guessing, is in, oh, she is a character in, she appeared in Timeless this year, and she's been in the Spider Boy book. So she's currently in Spider Boy. So I just need to read those issues and maybe get a little bit more about her character. But there's also one little first appearance here. Deadpool Boy shows up in this comic for the first time. Like it's a first appearance. But Eric, what is Deadpool Boy's first bit of dialogue in his first appearance?
He pops out and he's like, first appearance, slab it. And it's like when he yells slab it, I heard that in my head of just like, oh my God. It was like a combination eye roll and like laughing out loud. I'm like, that's just so perfect. And then I thought, wait, isn't there another Deadpool that was teaming up with Spider Boy? But that's Kid Deadpool. That's
Kid
not
Deadpool.
Deadpool Boy. So this actually, yeah,
Yeah.
it's his one appearance, and then later on in the issue, he jumps back through a portal, and he's like, I don't even know if I'm canon anyway, and
I
like
don't
he
even
kicks it
know if
out.
I'm
So
canon anyway.
who knows if we'll ever see him ever again?
Well, Eric, let's be honest. Anything with Deadpool on it, I wouldn't be shocked if in 6 months Deadpool Boy has his own 5 issue mini.
Who knows?
Um, so so in the beginning of this issue, we pick up right where we left off, but all these heroes that we've just talked about, they are trying to stop these zombie Vikings that Hellrune's power has risen from the grave. And Hellrune comes out of nowhere and she's like, guys, just I found somebody that can help me. And we meet Aunt Velida, who is her long lost relative, and she is like, hey, unleash all this power, get rid of these zombies. And Hellrune actually saves all of the new champions and all the young heroes. And then we have a series of conversations where Liberty says, hey, we should, like expand the team. If you're a hero that's wanting to do good and you want to join the new champions, let's do it. And a few of them agree to kind of like take a tracking beacon, and they're like, okay, maybe, maybe later. Oh, I'm busy right now, but maybe I'll get back to you. And a few of the ones that don't, Kid Juggernaut doesn't, Spider Boy doesn't. Spider Boy's like, please God, don't tell Peter Parker that I did this, which I thought was kind of funny. And then we just, like what Eric said, Deadpool Boy doesn't even know if he's canon. So we can assure you, Steve Fox did a smart thing here. He will be canon. That's no joke. But then we find out that Monty, one of the young heroes, goes back to where he lives, and I didn't catch where he lives, but he goes back to his home in New York City, and he has an interesting little conversation with another, we're assuming antagonist named Magnetrix, who is a younger female version of Magneto, or at least we're meant to believe that she is. And she is not so friendly. And we find out that Monty is trying to infiltrate the new champions to hopefully pull off some nefarious scheme. So, Eric, any part of this issue that you're especially intrigued with, Hellrune's power, revealing her, her aunt that is, telling her to unleash all this power, Monty's scheme, people that join the team, anything about that you want to just tease at?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, this Aunt Velita character, she's the one, super awesome design, real heavy druid vibes. Like she's
Very.
got antlers and like a moss cloak. It's like really cool. And we were misled in the first issue because there was a carving on a stone that looked just like Hela with like a headdress.
Yeah.
And then this was obviously not Hela, but with the antlers, you can tell why it would be sort of like confused for that.
They definitely wanted to make us think that.
For sure, for sure. And so for everything we can tell, it's this Aunt Velita's first appearance.
Yeah.
She is some kind of like magic wielder that sure enough, her niece has inherited these powers, and they go off together, and we don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to be in future issues of New Champions? Are they going to, maybe they'll show up in Doom Academy or come back in some other kind of magic book? I don't know, but it was such a tease to see this, because Hellrune, I mean, we just fell in love with the design, with like
Love
cool
it.
vibes. So we got to see more of her, and we got to figure out where she's going to pop up next.
I couldn't agree with you more. When they got to that point in the issue where the threat is squashed for at least that moment, and then she just says, Hellrune says, "Okay, I'm leaving the team." I'm like, what? Why? Like, you're so good. I need more of you in this book, because she's kind of like she's the heart of this team for so far, 2 issues in. And it's crazy how, like, we're 2 issues into this book, Eric, and I feel like I already know these characters. Steve Fox has written them so well that we know their personalities. We know how they're different. We know that, like, Cadet Marvel is kind of like the curmudgeon of the group. We know that Liberty is kind of like the leader optimist of the group. Jaren Moonsquire, he's kind of the, I would say, like the strategist of the group, because he also says, he's like, I don't know if I can come up with as many strategies for this many new members, because we pretty much just doubled our numbers. And Hellrune was kind of like the emotional center of the group, because she was the one that didn't have what the others had. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this dynamic. But it seems like, at least for the next issue or two, or however many, we're gonna switch up the dynamic a little bit, and we're not getting that strong Asgard tie maybe over the next few issues. But I hope we're wrong. I hope Hellrune doesn't leave this book, and I hope, if she does leave this book, we see her in another way, in another function. So any other final thoughts on New Champions #2, Eric? Because then we'll move on to the main event.
I mean, just that I'm still intrigued. I'm still on board. I don't know if folks were just going to try to follow the book to follow Hellrune. They might want to stick around and see what happens when the new champions meet the previous champions, and they have.
I am very excited about that.
Sam Alexander is going to be like, "Hey, the name's taken," so that's what I'm waiting to see.
like Sam Alexander is such a he's such a douche. Like, and he's just so like but he's fun though. Like he's that fun competitive guy that kind of talks out his ass a lot. But I can't wait to see him and Cadet Marvel butt heads, because they just seem like the two characters that are going to butt heads on those
Yeah.
teams. But I believe Kamala Khan is on the cover of, is it issue 3 or 4 that we've gotten? Yeah,
I
it's
think it's
issue
the next one.
3.
Yeah.
And is that Hulkling? I see.
No,
Miles.
you would know if it was Hulkling. That's
Oh no, is that probably Amadeus Cho?
yeah, yeah.
Then there's Viv Vision. There's Miles Morales. It's gonna be a crazy cool issue for sure. Um, but let's get our one of our other Warriors 3 members' thoughts on New Champions, because he was also smitten with this book. So here is what here's what the Faz Guardian had to say about New Champions number 2. And Eric and I will be reading this as a call and response. So we'll just alternate Faz's thoughts here. I love how cute this book is.
Rooney is the GOAT, and I'll be sad if she's off the chessboard for a while.
Patiently waiting for Hercules to tell me who her aunt is. Well, we don't even know, Faz. It was her first appearance.
So fun, eh?
So fun, eh? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I honestly, Faz told us in that in the group chat. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys got me to care about this book." Like it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's actually also a book I'm thinking of like just giving my kids. Like it feels like an all ages comic that can also be entertaining for older people. So let's move on to our main event. It is Immortal Thor number 20. And this issue is called Into the Dark. It is written by, of course, our man Al Ewing, Jan Basil Dua, Matt Hollingsworth with the colors, and the lettering god Joe Sabino on the crossing of the T's, the dotting of the I's, all of that. And Will Moss and the squad are doing our editing, I believe. Also, maybe Michelle Marchese is doing the assistant editing on this one as well. So last issue, we broke it down with the editor himself, Will Moss. We got this anthology all packed into one story tale of what's going on in Asgard and what's going on in different people's experiences on Asgard. But we pick up this one with Faz. Good grief. He's going to love that I slipped and called him Thor. He's going to eat that up. So we catch up with Thor having a conversation with his adopted mother, Freyja. And Freyja is still the goddess of the hunt. She's still just making things happen out in space. She's kind of a loner now, though, and her design still epic, still awesome. Nick Klein revamped her design in the Donny Cates run, and they've still kind of kept that really cool vibe that she has. They have a conversation about what's going on. They catch up on all the different little plots that we as readers already know about, but it also kind of sets the baseline again with Thor, what he's thinking, what he's feeling at this point. And then out of nowhere, Sif shows up and says, Asgard's in trouble, you got to come back. And we see Toranos on the wheel, but he's not there willingly. He is nailed to the wheel, and he hasn't come to Asgard as like a would-be conqueror or a monster. He's been delivered to Asgard as a warning to relay a message to Thor about what the Utgard realm wants, what the elder gods are planning. And Thor actually ends up killing Toranos because it's almost like I hate to use this phrase, but it's the only one that I can think of, like a mercy killing. Because Toranos is in pain, and the more in pain he is, the storm is getting worse and worse and worse. Thor can't command the storm because the storm is responding to Toranos's pain and his agony. So Thor and Toranos come to this understanding of like, hey, dude, like you delivered the message, but it's time to go. And he one shots Toranos, which was, I'll be honest, Thor, like if you could have done that all along, where we were holding that ace in the hole for what reason? But then we get this new kind of, we jet off on another adventure where Thor is going to return to the Utgard realm to basically get answers from Utgard Loki, from all of those who had just basically sent Toranos to Asgard to die. And when he gets to the gate of the Utgard realm, there's Scourge, the executioner, standing in front of the gate, and behind the gate is a certain mad titan, Thanos. And needless to say, I've got so many questions about that, Eric. I know, like, what the actual hell? And then, but Faz is going to kill me if I don't mention this. Before Sif and Thor leave each other, Thor and Sif share a kiss that, I'm not going to lie, I hope there's more to it than just like, oh, just shut up. You were talking too much. I hope there's more to it than that. But Eric, what do you think of this crazy packed, like I feel very consequential issue of Immortal Thor?
Oh my God. Can we just take a breath? Just take a breath. Listener,
everybody,
just let this sink in for a second. This issue was flippin' amazing. It did so much. It answered so many questions, but it left us hungry for more with even more questions. So we got exposition, we got reminders of backstory, we got explaining and untangling things that are actually going to make things make a lot more sense for like a split second. And then we're going to get thrown into this whole new direction where it very much feels like we are in the end game and there's just this cascade of events that's almost unstoppable now. You know, we don't know if it's fate, we don't know if it's a prophecy, but this wheel is turning and there's no stopping it now. Some of my favorite pieces were, oh my gosh, the revelation, I think, a little bit about talking about kind of tying up the loose ends with this whole Thanos with the Infinity Gem Mjolnir thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm sick of hearing about it, but it's almost like I can't get enough. Like we've been teased with this ever since the Donny Cates run, and I really feel actually very satisfied with if this is Al Ewing's solution to that with the way that this might end up. And that is that, you know, Freyja is asking, you know, you said you weren't going to have an heir. You said the throne was cursed. And Thor's like, I agree. Like, I saw this vision from the Black Winter. But he kind of is describing how a lot of shit's happened since then. And so maybe this kind of is undone. Like, you went through a time storm. You defeated Thanos in the time of Bor. Like, you reforged your hammer. The Bifrost is back in. Like, those probably had a ripple effect on whatever this prophecy saw in the future. Maybe that timeline's not even a problem anymore. And so that seems like I'd buy that. Like a lot of shit's been going on since then. So don't just say that this is inevitable. I can see why it would still be hanging over him, but that just leads him to believe that, like, even if this Thanos with Mjolnir thing isn't going to happen, which then we have the question, well, is it? Because why is Thanos there? So maybe it is going to happen. Like, who knows?
I was talking I think maybe this was on my one-on-one chat with Faz, because I don't think all of us had read Immortal Thor yet, but Faz and I couldn't help ourselves. I'm excited that Thanos is in this book. I'm a little confused as to how. And I know Al Ewing's going to explain it. You know, because I mean, even the last time we saw Scourge in issue 19, how does Scourge know how to get to the Utgard realm? And why is he guarding the door, seemingly for Thanos?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I thought he was going to go into business for himself. Do you have any speculation on how? No, I know you just laid out like what this could be leading to, but why is Thanos here now? Like, I that's part of the thing that I'm excited to find out, but I don't get.
I don't know. I think from a story point of view, the mechanism for that is that we're going to get some kind of closure on this whole Thanos thing, and that having him there is going to give us like a definitive this Black Winter prophecy thing is not a thing anymore, and we're going to be able to put that behind us. Because although it's really fun to tease it and think about it, I think Al has his own plans, and this is going to be sort of a definitive way to be like, this is going to sort of swap out with that interaction, and it might not need to then be a thing anymore. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the answer to the question. Why is Thanos standing in the Utgard realm on the other side of the gate?
Yeah.
And importantly, the message that Toranos gives is that what does he say? He says, someone must pass through it one way or the other. So that means either someone can go into the gate or someone can come out of the gate. Maybe not both. Maybe one or the other will happen. I don't know.
Interesting. I love I love that Al sometimes doesn't spell things out for us because it gives us things to speculate on. But sometimes I'm like, Al, could you spell that one thing out for us, please? Like, just so for readers to understand this, that vision of Thanos appearing in Thor's dreams with the hammer encrusted with all the Infinity Stones, that issue was issue 6 of Donny Cates and Nick Klein's run on Thor. To put this all in perspective, that was Legacy issue number 732. We just read Legacy issue number 781. Issue 6 of Donny Cates and Nick Klein's run came out in 2020. So we are years away from that. So, like, it's just crazy to me that Al Ewing's like, well, we're still going to tie up that loose end. It's like, why? Like, no, it's cool. I get it. But just like, I feel like as a comic book reader, oh, that issue wasn't that long ago. It was forever ago. And it's still cool. And it's still apparently worthy of attention because we're going to try and at least tie something up in it. And Al has shown that he's definitely not one to shy away from callbacks. And Magni showing up. That's decades ago, guys. Decades. So yeah. I'm a fan, and if he can tie this into his overall impending story, I mean, it sounds like in this issue, Eric, I just want to get your opinion on this as well. Thor is going to die soon, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But so we speculated a little bit in our group chat. What will the death mean? Like, how are they going to do this? Do you have like an inclination, a way that you kind of want them to do this? Is there like, how are you feeling about this impending death of Thor? And it's like, we're not doing it as a mini series or like, oh, here's the 5-issue miniseries, the death of Thor, like they did with Death of Doctor Strange or the death of Wolverine a few years ago. It's going to be very much in story. So is there a way you're thinking it might happen, that you want it to happen? How are you, like, what's the vibe check on that?
Yeah. Good question. And Thor's talking about the cycle and the repeating patterns and stuff like that again in this issue. And you would have thought that ripping out both of his eyes and hanging himself would have been, and becoming Rune King Thor would have been enough to stop the cycle. But it appears like maybe that
feels like a done deal.
So I don't know what he's going to do that could top taking out both his eyes and like hanging himself from the world tree and becoming Rune King Thor and like literally stopping all of Asgard, like killing all the Asgardian gods and like making the story vanish.
Right.
That's like kind of what happened before. So I don't know what he's going to do. And it doesn't really seem like he's trying to die to stop the cycle. He said he's going to fight against his death. He's not going to sacrifice himself. He's not trying to like do that so that he can conclude something. He doesn't want to die, but it just feels like it's bound to happen. I personally think with the theme of death and how little we've seen of Jane Foster so far, my big theory is that we're going to get some kind of turning point, and there's going to be a lot more Jane Foster Valkyrie in the second half of this 50-issue story that's being told, because Al Ewing did an awesome run on Valkyrie Jane Foster and basically redefined what Valkyrie is in Marvel Comics, and it created new Valkyrie powers and roles in relation with death and all that. So I think if Thor's going to die, I think Valkyrie might show up and be able to usher Thor into figuring out what they're going to do next. I think Thor might end up where Heimdall and Hermod are. And maybe they have like a fun jailbreak, figure out how to fight their way back from the endless city from the far shore.
I'm all for it. And then even if you're gonna get Valkyrie involved, you're gonna get Heimdall and Hermod, and they're what the endless city is Nurgle or something like that. There's also a character that's in Valhalla right now that is a little bit of a sad boy. Odin's there.
Yeah.
And we have not seen Thor and Odin interact in a long time. Since Odin was trapped in the hammer. And like that was an interesting way to keep Odin around, but it limited how they could interact. Now, and I know the funeral of Odin was a great issue, and Faz will never let us forget how great that issue was. Some of the greatest art I believe Nick Klein's ever done. And if anyone out there is reading the Hulk series right now, Nick Klein turns in awesome art every single month. But the funeral of Odin was great. I think that would be interesting to I also think it will be interesting to see how Thor's death will affect Asgard, and how, like, are we going to get more issues that feel like Thor 19? Are we going to get these like more anthology type books, and then like, oh yeah, and then Thor is off doing this thing? I just don't want. Here's my worry, and my worry, who gives a shit? But like. My worry is that a Thor book that takes Thor off the table, obviously because we're in Asgard, you don't have to take him fully off the table because Valhalla exists and Niflheim, Hell. The afterlife is a part of the Asgardian cosmology. But does taking him off the board as king affect Asgard? Or are we just going to like just continue to focus on Thor? I hope that Thor's death is treated like an event that actually changes the dynamic of Asgard, and we see how that's played out in these other characters around him that will no doubt be affected by his death. I just want to see how it affects more of the world around him, because he is a pivotal character, especially in Asgard proper.
Yeah, there has to be a big change. Gaia is all about basically punishing Earth for not changing, right? Change is such an important theme in this. And when we talked to Will Moss, he was saying big things are coming. Like it's really gonna pop off probably by around issue 25. And hopefully we do get something that feels substantial, that doesn't just feel like it's Thor trying to stop Ragnarok again. Hopefully it feels like a total change in the status quo. And honestly, I would be so excited about that, even if it's controversial, even if it like ruffles feathers.
Right.
I think it would be great to take a risk like that and be like, we're going to do something totally different. And, almost on the same level as like Jane Foster Thor different, where like you can't please everybody. Sure. And if you're going to leave a mark that's going to be a story people talk about 20 years from now, you've got to take a big swing.
Yeah. I think that's so true. And like, again, this is not the of all the Thor podcasts out there. This is not the one where we're like, you know what? Just give us kind of the status quo. We want the writer and the artist and the editorial team to take big swings, because it proves that you have an actual story that's different that you want to tell. And I want them to take that big swing, whatever it is, because I feel like Al Ewing's a guy that can pull it off. Like just like whether you liked Jane Foster as Thor or not, if you didn't, I can't help you. But I loved it because Jason Aaron he was a tier of creator that could pull it off. And he wasn't just doing it to be splashy and to be like, oh, Thor's a girl now. But like Russell Dodderman and him were able to do something with that character and make her truly unique, truly stand out. And I feel like Al and Jan and Will and the whole team can pull that off because they're just that tier of creator. I'm very excited to see what happens coming up. Eric, there's one other part of the book that we have to talk about because again, Faz will absolutely read us the riot act if we don't talk about Thor and Sif's kiss on the bridge before Thor heads off to the Utgard realm.
Oh, I thought you were going to say butt naked Toranos nailed to a wheel, but yeah, Thor and Sif kissing.
That does feel like a thing that Faz would be like, there wasn't enough naked elder god talk. What did you think of the kiss? What does it mean? Do you hope it leads somewhere? How did you feel about that scene?
I thought it was a good sentimental moment between people that have shared a great deal of history together. I thought it really made this goodbye scene feel special and important. Yeah. I think that Sif is probably more into it than Thor is. Thor kind of seems like he could, not that he could care less, but Thor is the one that does say the F word, friend. And Sif is saying that she hopes it's not goodbye. But I also am sitting here trying to like dissect the narration here where, you know, it says Thor would see Sif like one more time.
Right.
But Sif, when she prays to see them together, had spoken a lie or something like that. And so it's like, Thor's going to see Sif again, but Sif's not going to see Thor again. So is he just going to be like a ghost? Is he going to be like seeing her from beyond the grave? I don't know. But I love little things like that. I'm like, yes, make my brain wheels turn for the next hour thinking about how this is going to go down. And it's frickin', you know, Loki, our narrator, and they're just messing with us the whole time.
I'm confused by this, but I love that I'm confused by this because it's like, again, it's the take the swing. You know, are we getting Thor and Sif end game? I'm not opposed to it. I've said this to I feel like anyone that will listen, and then people that won't listen. Actually, I still say it. If I can't have Jane and Thor, I want Thor and Sif. So if that's an end game, cool. If it's not, sure. You know, I loved it. I loved it almost for the shock value because it made more sense because of their friendship and their long-standing relationship and connection. How much Sif truly does look out for Thor and appreciate him and value him. So I'm excited to see if it goes anywhere. If it doesn't, that's also fine. We saw Toranos get the kill shot. Also, Eric, I feel like that was a big one. I didn't expect that.
The like laser beam to the brain. Like, I mean, to just take him out.
Dragon Ball Z to the face.
Yeah. Well, and you know, he's sufficiently weakened because they said he was gored by the bull. He was nailed to the thing. So he's really on death's doorstep here. And so I don't think that Thor could have just done this earlier. And I also don't think that Thor would have done this early because Thor, his whole thing is mercy and compassion. And so he was sort of saying like, what a waste that he just ended up dead because the way, we could have got to that point, a long time ago. And so it sort of just defeats the purpose of just having somebody get back to a finality like that, as if you just killed them in battle when you had the chance to change them.
Are there any other thoughts, Eric, that you have on Thor issue 20? Because we do have there's an excited co-host of ours that had lots to say about this issue.
Let me just there's too much in this issue. Let me just pick some little nuggets out here. Thor thinks that Mjolnir is the third weapon. It's not. It's not the third weapon.
Nope.
Thor, don't be fooled. You don't have what you need for this battle. I thought the narration was just absolutely beautiful when it starts breaking the fourth wall and talking to the reader. The narration says, is this a great deed to take pride in, you who hear this? Do you see it as worthy of worship? Do you believe that who can kill is the measure of your strength? So this again goes back to the I love this Immortal Hulk tie-in stuff because in Immortal Hulk there was the dichotomy of strength and mercy. Like mercy was the right hand, or like they were basically both hands of God were like strength and mercy. So that's the dichotomy that we're getting here. And it's calling us out as the reader to be like, you think you know what strength is? You don't, think of strength in the right way, or like you don't think in strength in the way that a worthy god would, because the Utgard gods, the elder gods, are vengeful. They don't care. And that's not
very
the kind of
impersonal.
Yeah, they're just extreme black and white viewpoints, and that's not the kind of gods that we have now, and that's not the kind of god that Thor wants to be. So, just I mean, there's so much deep stuff here. There's just a lot of action, but just it's very poetic at the same time. So, I'm just gushing over it. It's fantastic.
This was a great issue for so many surprises and shock. Shock value was very high in this issue. And then that cliffhanger leads to the cover of 21, where we see Thor facing down Scourge with Thanos in the background. There's just a lot I feel like next issue is going to absolutely answer some questions for us, but also make us ask maybe bigger questions and prolong our curiosity. I do, like I said, I love that Al Ewing always gives us something to talk about. Even if we don't fully understand it in the moment, it's not like we're reading a kid's comic where it's dumbed down so much where we just know like, oh, good triumphs over evil. At this point, I feel like I'm a t-shirt in a washing machine just being like tossed around and like just when is the spin cycle going to stop? But I'm very excited for this. We do have some thoughts from Faz about this issue, and Eric, I'm gonna read the first little like opening bit of his, and then I feel like we should jump down to the miscellaneous parts as well, because a lot of those are Thor centric as well.
Okay.
So here's how this goes. Everything but the new champions thoughts, everybody. Hi everybody. This is the Immortal Faz. My fellow Asgardians, this is the Immortal Faz speaking. Holy motherfucking shitballs.
Thor and Sif. One true pairing or friend zone, a million exclamation marks. Ugh, it's hard to be a shipper.
The art was stunning this issue. The story is cooking. Did I mention Thor and Sif? Wow, what a comic. Thor's last adventure is going to be a blaze of glory. Al Ewing continues to be the GOAT. Al Ewing is definitely not a hoser.
My Thor X Sif ship is again on the table, but my Thor X Hercules ship may be dead in the water.
And all of the ATB hosts wept. And right here, I'm supposed to insert a comment about Ryan needing to do cosplay soon and praising the work that Eric is doing for Hercules. Eric, do you want to give any updates on how the Hercules cosplay is coming along?
So I'm doing Hercules with his sort of combat look, not the toga look. And I've got it pretty much from the waist down. But listener, that's the easy part. And so now it's going to get much harder.
Buying the clothes is the easy part. I don't know if you know this, but Hercules, kind of a bulky dude.
Yeah.
Then he goes, oh, it's just, sorry. The next part's yours, Eric.
Oh, insert tease for what Eric and I are working on. So a bunch of eyes looking, a bunch of teasing glances. So we are embarking on a journey into mystery. The deific duo is taking this on. And so more to come, listener, about what that could mean. But it is certainly a lengthy epic quest.
Then he ends it with, "Thank you, Odin bless you all," and by Odin, by and my and Odin bless the united realms of Asgardia. What a shithead! The shithead was me. Gosh, Faz is doing the Valentine's shenanigans tonight, so we're missing him, but he really did love this issue, had nothing but great things to say about it. And I do love that Faz didn't even mention Toranos getting one-shotted. He didn't mention Thanos showing up at the end. He only was just like, did I mention Thor and Sif? Did I mention Thor and Sif? But Eric, as we finish up this episode, do you have any other final thoughts on New Champions, Immortal Thor, where we're headed next? Any other any other thoughts you might have before we shut this one down?
Just to sit back and enjoy the ride, right? This is the best time to be reading comics. It just feels easy to be a Thor fan right now. I'm enjoying being completely in the dark. I'm enjoying coming up with the different conspiracy theories and fan theories and trying to predict the future. And I have no need to be right on any of my theories, right? I'm not saying the things I'm saying because I hope they happen. I'm just wondering and thinking how this world is going to unfold. But I'm just thoroughly enjoying letting the creators take the reins, and I'm just along for the ride, folks. I'm just having a blast.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, this is it really is a good time, because I think our conversation with Will Moss got me even more excited, because Will's able to tease what he wants, because he's the boss. That's why I love talking to Will, because he gets us excited about the things that, we're already excited, and we said this to Will, we were already going to buy the issue. But now it's we're just we're going with that extra added vigor and, that fever pitch that we're at every Wednesday when we know an issue of Immortal Thor is coming out. So just so you know, fans, the issues that we're going to be covering coming up soon, I think we're going to get a Simonson episode out next, and that'll probably be our finale for the Simonson saga. So be looking for that in your podcast feed. That was a fantastic episode. We really, really put a lot of heart and soul into those last few recordings of the Simonson saga. But then we've got Captain America and Volstagg #1 coming up very, very soon. Very soon. And we got TVA, another Immortal Thor is just a few weeks away. And then soon we're going to be talking about our one focused tie-in we're going to do with One World Under Doom. It's Doctor Strange of Asgard. That is going to be, I don't even know what to expect from that, Eric. It's going to be bonkers, and I'm very excited about it. That's what you can be looking forward to here, everybody. We got some Simonson for you. We got some new comics coming up. I'm sure I can talk the guys into a review of Brave New World, because we're all going to go see it this weekend. Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, listener, you've already seen Captain America: Brave New World. You've seen all the craziness that's going to happen in that movie, and we just got so much to get excited about this year. So, everybody, thank you so much for enjoying this episode. We hope that you had a good time listening to us review New Champions #2 and Immortal Thor #20. If you wouldn't mind checking us out on Patreon, we've got some early episodes, bonus episodes, things like that ready for you. Eric and I did a pregame for this episode where we talked about movies. We talked a little bit about what we're excited about in the world of movies, and then we got a Discord link in the episode description. Check that out. I feel like Discord's been a lot more active lately, Eric, because we've got so many different worlds to talk about. Comics, a special DC Comics channel was requested. We got sports, and then my favorite little channel there is the No Context channel, where it's usually me. I'll just post a panel from something, no context, nothing. Do you have a favorite channel on our Discord, Eric? Because you're pretty active over there.
I like following along. I'll get a notification. I'll be in a meeting or something, and I'll go back and catch up on it. And just the like the comedy chops on these guys. Everyone's kind of like learning, they're learning each other's sense of humor
It's
now. And
pretty
so
good.
the give and take on this stuff, it's hilarious to go through and read these callbacks and these references. Like everyone is much funnier than I am. I can't think that quickly about stuff, but I just love the they'll throw some lines in there and I'll just go get a chance to read up on everything. I do like the no context though. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely a good standby because I know there's going to be some just wacky nugget from comic history in there with
Yeah.
no reference whatsoever.
And it's never something that's like, oh, I know that issue. It's like, no, it's all like Silver Age, the gold age stuff. That's just like like it's probably terrible in context as it is terrible out of context. But our Discord is a lot of fun and we enjoy it. So click the link in the episode description if you want to join that, have some fun over there with us. We talk about just about everything, I guess, mostly comics, but we get off on tangents about movies and stuff like that as well. So everybody, thank you so much for checking this episode out. Again, I know I've said it a few times, but we really do appreciate you checking this episode out. And just remember, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, whether you are at the gates of the Utgard realm and you're like, oh my gosh, what is the Mad Titan doing right there? Whether a friend of yours that you thought was just a friend randomly kissed you today and you don't know how to process that. Whatever's going on in your life, just remember to do one thing, and that is to stay worthy.